All right, welcome back. This is 01 of 1, and we are playing Minecraft again. All right, so in the last video, we had finished building up our little house, slash watchtower, slash whatever you'd like to call it. And this episode, I figured we kind of need to start getting ourselves some better tools. So, what makes a tool good? For pickaxes and things like that, things like efficiency, unbreaking, mending especially, these are the kind of things that make, a pickaxe good. For some pickaxes, you may not want to have the silk touch, and then for other ones you may. But for this one, the one that I would like to make, I don't really need silk touch on it yet. But in order to get that kind of cool stuff, we need some way to get our enchanting stuff, right? And then once I get that stuff, or before I get that stuff, or whatever, either way, I'm also going to need to find diamonds. So for this episode, I think I'm mostly going to concentrate on building an auto fisher. And then I'll go into like what makes, an auto fisher work and the different things that you're going to need to kind of put it all together. And it looks like it's dark out. All right. Because I've seen a lot of auto fishers out there, and the one thing that I noticed among most of the videos in the comments is that most people build it exactly, as it's shown, and it doesn't work for them. So I'm going to show you guys kind of what you need to look for in order to make it work, and then also I'm going to build one, so we'll go off of that. And then I think a good place to put it, honestly, I would need to probably take that cap off right there, is pretty much right here in the center. But at the same time, when you're doing AFK fishing at like an auto fisher, something that kind of happens is whatever you have, like the hoppers feeding into it, usually fills up because you catch a lot of junk, right? So I kind of want to put it someplace where I can expand it more, or I don't know, like have more chests or something like that. But we'll see what we can do here. I've got an idea. So I'm going to start gathering materials, and I'll set up a little chest up here to show you everything that you're going to need, or at least everything that I think you're going to need, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to go and look for some stuff, and then I will be right back. All right, and we're back. I gathered up all the materials that I think I'm going to need. I'm kind of building it in my head, so I'm not really sure. Hopefully I've got everything I need. So let's see what we got. So we are going to need 2 trap chests and 4 regular chests. Now, you do not need all of this. You can actually bring this down to 1 hopper and 1 chest if you wanted to, but I'm just building some extra storage for this whole thing. You're going to need a couple of tripwire hooks. You're going to need a string. For my build, you're going to need 3 hoppers. You're going to need some water. You're going to need 2 redstone, an iron trapdoor. You're going to need 3... Well, really, all of this, except for this, is kind of up to you. So you're going to need some sort of building bricks, and then you're also going to need a stone or some sort of a slab. And then you're also going to need just some random amount of just additional building stuff. So, the first thing that we want to do is we want to set down our 2 sets of chests. Now, I also cleared off the structure inside of here because we're going to be kind of tall, so I just want to make sure that we have enough room. So we're going to set our first set of chests there as a double. We're going to set our second chest here as a double, which is why this one needs to be trapped and this one not trapped, so we can set them right next to each other like this. Then we're going to need 2 hoppers. And we're just gonna kind of put this into here. So we've got one hopper going into this one, and then we've got this hopper going into this one. Both of these are gonna be filling at the same time. So, you know, it's just extra storage, that's all it's for. And then we're gonna need this one here to be on top. So whatever fills into this one will then get sucked out of here and then put into these two. So now we have these two full chests to fill, this full chest to fill, as well as the 10 additional spots from these two hoppers here, and the other 5 that we're going to put on that hopper there. Now, wherever you put this hopper, because the water is actually going to be sitting on top of it, you want to make sure that you have access to sky right above it, right? So right here, we have access to sky, which means that this hopper needs to go off of this end of the chest, right? So we're going to be putting our water up here, and then we're going to be setting up kind of our where we fish and everything over on that side, and then all the rest of this should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so the next thing is you're going to need some of your building blocks, and this is just kind of to create a little area around here, because you're going to need to get up on top of here in order to place some additional stuff. So we're going to go with now remember, you don't have to build this exactly how I do it. I just kind of like having it a little decorative. So we're going to place this right here. We're going to place this here and here and here and here. So the purpose of this is to keep the water in place right here. Now next we're going to need to take these additional blocks that we have, and we're going to need to build up on, I suppose that one's fine right where it is, but we want to build up right here. So we have this stair here, we're going to put one here, and then we want to build another one here. Now on these blocks we're going to be placing our hooks, or our tripwire hooks. So we'll head over here, we're going to put one here, we're going to put one here. Next we're going to take our string, and we're going to take our string and put it right there. So now that goes in between these two, and you'll see that this is just over where the water is going to be. Okay. Now this is the back side of this whole thing, and we're actually going to be fishing over here on this side. So we'll just kind of clean this up a little bit more. Yeah, so it's going to be a little off, but that should be all right. All right, now what we want to do here is we want to put some blocks here, and we want to place a half slab. So this guy right here, or a slab, whatever. And the idea is that we want to be, basically, we want to be able to just see over this, and we can see where the tripwire is. We want to be able to click in between the edge of this block here and the bottom of this here. So we have this whole window right in here, okay? Now when we go over here onto the back side, we are going to need some more building blocks. So let me see what I got. If I can remember where I put it, of course. Is it in here? Yeah. Alright, so this should give us more than enough. Okay. Okay, so now we need to build up back here. Now in between these two blocks here, so we are at the level of the water, where the water is going to go, and we're just under where this string is. We want to place a block that we can click on repeatedly, which would be the note block. Now you can use another, there's a number of different blocks you can use for this, but ideally what you want it to be able to do is you'll hold down the right click button, and it does something and allows you to keep clicking on it. So you can see that as I'm clicking on this, it keeps, going up in pitch, right? So that's kind of what you want. Now, if you don't want the sound of all of this, just put this here and that there. So if you don't want that sound to keep going, all you have to do is just put another block on top, and it prevents all the sound from coming out. But you'll still be able to click on it as we are right now. Alright, so with this, now you can see where the tripwire is. Now we have this entire block that we can now click on, right? From right here. And this is what we want. Now, because I personally don't really want the sound, I'm just going to fill this all off. I know it's a big monstrosity, but it will do its job. So now I can click on it and there's no sound. Now at this point, we want to take our water bucket and we want to place it down in here. There we go. Okay, so now we have our water in here. And actually, I messed up. Okay, hang on. We're going to pick up the water again. That's not working. Okay. Hang on, I can get this. I can get it. There we go. Okay, now I got it. Alright, so I apologize. So we need this block here. Did that just go in there? Probably. Yeah, it did. Okay. So we actually need the note block to be one block before. And then we also are going to need, if that is up there, these are going to have to come out. Alright. Now in this space behind here, we're going to need a special type of block, right? Now the conditions for this block is that you have to be able to, well, it has to act as a solid block, right? So with a solid block, when you're casting a fishing pole, if you are looking at a solid block, when it casts, it will still cast out, right? But if you are clicking on any kind of a block that does an action when you right click, then your fishing pole will not go out, right? So what we have to do, oh, and the other condition is that this block that we put in there also has to be able to hold back water. So we're going to take and put this in here, and then we're going to take our 2 redstone, and of course I'm not going to be able to get in there. Okay, hang on. We'll get there, I promise. Alright. Now, so we want to take and put our redstone. Now you maybe only need 1, but I'm not sure how the timing works. So like whenever we trip this right here, both of these are going to light up, but I don't know if if like one is going to actually activate, you know, the trapdoor, because in the coding of Minecraft, you know, redstone to the north or south or east or west or whatever activates before the other ones. I know that there is an order, because when I was making a circle generator a while back, before a lot of these things, before they had the new command blocks, I know that I had to align the command blocks in a certain order, so that way the coding as it went through would activate them in order as well. So I'm not sure if that has any effect on this, but basically we just want 2 because we want this to flip down as quickly as possible. So now as we go in here, you'll see that that opens, right? And it's pretty quick. Now, behind this is where we want our note block to go. Okay? So that's where our note block is. And so when we go up here, you're going to see that we can click on this block, right? So this is the part where it acts like a solid block. So if I click on this, you can see that I'm not punching anything or anything like that because there's nothing to activate, right? If I use the normal trapdoor, then every time I clicked on the right click, then this would activate and it would either open or close. So we need something that will act as a solid block until you can put a redstone signal to it and then it moves out of the way. I'm sure that you could probably get a variation of this working with a piston that would move a solid block out of the way. But the basic idea is that once this moves out of the way, we will be able to click on that note block over there, like this. Now, another thing, and this is with the half slab here, is we want to be able to have this as close to underneath the string here as possible. Now the reason for that is what holds this whole thing and trips it is actually the bobber. So if we were further down and more kind of going up, then the bobber actually isn't going to be as high as it was if I was up half a block more, right? So you'll notice that when you're fishing, normally sometimes the bobber goes down a little bit, but the thing is we don't want this to trigger the trapdoor. We want it to only trigger when it goes down all the way when we have a fish. So by putting this half slab here, we get just the right amount of height, and it moves everything out of the way, and then the trapdoor kind of, moves stuff. So all that's really left now is to test it. Now before we can test it, and I think I used up everything in here, yeah. These 2 blocks were just supposed to go there and there, but I think I used the other blocks for it. So now I need a fishing pole, and we will see if it works. I need some sticks or some wood. Okay, probably just 2, I think. Yeah. And then we're going to need some string, 2 string. And then we'll go and we'll make it up here because I can. So we put 3 sticks in a row, put 2 of these, and we get a fishing rod. Okay, so now we get to test it. So I mean, this thing is rather huge. I mean, I might replace these with steps or something so we can just kind of walk up to it. But the reason why it is as tall as it is because we had to have these extra 2 blocks here for extra storage. So I'm just going to kind of open this up here, and then we'll close kind of that off a little bit. I think we can probably get rid of that. Then we'll go here. We'll get rid of that one too. Alright. So now we have, from the back, we can access any of these. And we're probably going to need to put some light in here. So we'll put that there. We'll put that there. Get rid of this one. We'll put that one there, put that one there, and put that one there. Okay. So now we have plenty of light going around, and we can go up here and try our fishing. Okay, so how you know if this will work or not. Now you can kind of see the bottom of the trapdoor here, and it's just below the water. To be safe, you might want to click right there, but with this, so long as you're not clicking in this hitbox or on this hitbox, and you're somewhere in the middle, and you'll still be able to hit that note block behind it, you should be good. So right now, if I were to just cast in here, okay, hang on, there we go. So you can see now with the trapdoor, pushed down, I'm actually clicking on the note block, which is, making the sound. And so as soon as that trapdoor comes back up, like when I catch a fish, like what just happened, it's going to trip the tripwire so that way it turns off, which then raises up the trapdoor, and then it acts as a solid block again, which means that I then reel in the fish. So that's kind of how this works, and with this particular setup, it's not as precise as some of the other builds that I've seen. And, it works. So, let's see, we're at 15 minutes. So, I don't know if I want to record this entire thing going down, or if I just want to pause it and then kind of see what goes on after. Yeah, I think I'll just pause it. Okay. So now when you want to stop, just click on any other solid block around here and you'll see that this resets. Okay, so now the other part of this, and I'm not going to tell you how to do this, you can probably figure it out for yourself. I know that all of you are very smart people. You need to figure out a way, in order to do this AFK, to make it so that way your right click is always being pressed. So for an example, I know I said I wasn't going to tell you, but this is just what I'm doing. On my keyboard, I have a rubber band that goes over or in between a function key, right? And I've programmed the function key to do a left click. Now, connected to that rubber band, I have a little twist tie, so that way all I have to do is move the twist tie on top of the function key, and it acts as a constant right click. So if I were to do it right now, hold on, need to update. There we go. There we go. Oh, and another thing is you have to be very careful about where you put this, because you can see on The fishing pole, like that, just used a good chunk of its health. So you need to be very careful about, you know, that you get this in the right spot the first time. You don't continue to hit the wrong spot, because it will, you know, break down your fishing pole rather quickly. Okay, so right now I have no hands on the mouse, I have no hands on the keyboard, and yet it is still clicking. And so that's the other part of this. Now you can figure out your own way to do it. And then you have yourself an AFK fishing farm. Alright, so I'm going to pause it, and then we will kind of see what we get at the end. Alright? Alright, so we will be right back. Alright, and we're back. So, as you can see from the fishing pole, it is just about to break. So I figured I'd take these last few casts to kind of explain all the different places that you can possibly kind of point, you know, your cursor at, or your crosshair, or whatever you want to call it, to make this work. So long as you are actually clicking on the note box, so if you take this line from the back edge of this block here, going straight down, so from there to this back edge here on this line, and then from the edge of the water here down to the bottom of the trapdoor here. So anywhere in here you should be fine to make this work. So we'll try it right over here, and it works. And actually we might actually be able to go over to the front edge of those blocks back there. Yeah, so we have a slightly bigger area that we can aim for now. If I want to catch a fish, of course. There we go. Alright. So we can go from this front line here to this front line here, and then from the water. Well, actually, on this side we have to be a little bit more careful, because when this opens, it's going down. And so if you click over actually on the trapdoor on this side, it still acts as a solid block. So it's just going to make you keep casting, right? Which you don't want to do, because that'll wear out your fishing rod really, really quickly. So we'll kind of see where this is. And it looks like it's kind of, yeah, see, so right there, it just keeps casting. But anywhere kind of in here, anywhere within this area, it should still work. And there we go, it's broken. So let's go ahead and see what we got from this one fishing pole. This one should be empty, which it is. And then these, I think, should be shared. No, it all went into this one. Okay. So I did not catch any magical fishing poles, which is kind of unfortunate, which means I need to go and get some more string for the next fishing pole. But, you know, one full pole, and, you know, I messed up a couple times, as you saw, so I wasted some of the durability on it. But 29 regular fish, 6 of these other fish, then you got a bunch of kind of other stuff. Saddles I throw away, boots I throw away, bowls unless you're going to use them for like mushroom soup or something, or stew or whatever. I usually throw those away. The tripwire hooks, I can usually use those for stuff, so I usually keep those. But, you know, these things here are just whatever. And then I think, I'm not sure what the clownfish is used for, to be honest. But I think the pufferfish is used in the potion making. So we'll keep those two, and clownfish are just cool, so I'm going to keep that too. So I know I said in this episode that I was going to go and look for diamonds as well. But we are already well over our time. So I'm going to call this one here, and then we'll start looking for diamonds in the next episode. And then, of course, if it starts raining, of course, because you have a better chance of catching cool stuff when it's raining, then I'll be fishing. So, and we can see that we got all kinds of monsters out here. They're going to start burning, though. That guy's got a magical bow. Look at that. All right. So, thank you for joining me. And I think this is, what, episode 3? We have built our auto AFK fisher type thing. And it works, and I've shown you how it works and why it works, and how to use it properly, how to turn off the sound of the note block if you don't want to see it. And provided you build it somewhat like I built it, at least with the trip hooks, the redstone the note block and the trap door in the correct locations as it's shown here. Nothing else really matters except for the slab. You just want to make sure that you are at the correct height to where you're just barely peeking over this block here, which is so you can aim underneath the tripwire and, you know, kind of above this block and then kind of in here. So we'll call this one here, and I will see you guys in the next episode. See ya.